Okay, alright. I initially wasn't planning to produce this video at all, but now I actually feel a little compelled to give my professional insight and personal opinion on what recent breaking industry news that just got leaked from an internal town hall meeting during early evening of May the 18th. So it's been officially confirmed yet leaked by Jason Schreier of Bloomberg.com that Sony Interactive Entertainment has officially announced internally, though, to their employees that effective immediately, all future first-party single-player titles will no longer be ported and released onto the PC going forward. That would mean that, sadly, no immediate future plans to port both recently released titles of Sucker Punch's Ghost of Yote or Housemarque's Sorrow to either Steam storefront or Epic Game Store. Those two first-party single-player, story narrative-driven games shall remain platform exclusive to the PlayStation 5 for the foreseeable future unless something unforeseenably drastic were to happen. Those titles shall now remain exclusively tied to the PlayStation 5 console only. Observing this decision from a professional standpoint would assure myself and millions of similar gamers that Sony values their own IPs as treasured jewels to be honored within their own stronghold. Only the brave and the bold who seem worthy enough to own their own PS5 can play these treasure chest first-party single-player titles only on the PlayStation 5. Now, pushing my personal feelings to the side for a moment about this decision, this is either a really good thing for the PlayStation and Sony Interactive Entertainment or a really careless decision by Sony Corp. They must realize, yes, that either way, money will be lost here whether they decide to continue porting these subsequent title releases or not to the PC. However, on the flip side of things, they strangely decided, at least strange within my own opinion, to maintain their commitment towards multi-platform releases for their current and their future live service multiplayer games, aka Marathon and Fair Games, even though Fair Games was never officially marked as a multi-platform game. They have a completely different attitude and mindset when they factor in Sony's multiplayer titles, whether they're big or small. Now, Sony Interactive Entertainment appears to be perfectly fine with these shared games among multi-platforms, including the Xbox and the Switch 2, if they can get the games to work on the Switch 2. But no one other than their own PlayStation community is worthy enough for their highly expensive to produce single-player story-driven narrative games. So this would all mean for anyone who is a self-proclaimed PC elitist that future releases of Insomniac's Wolverine, Naughty Dog's Intergalactic The Heretic Prophet, and Sony Santa Monica Studios' God of War Trilogy remake will no longer see the light of day on Windows PC, Steam, or Epic Game Store. Sony plans to restore full exclusivity for just their single-player games, purely on the faith of their games and the current glowing brand of the PlayStation appeal. But don't believe that all this can't change for the worse for Sony. We all gamers are currently experiencing a console generation unlike any generation we've ever experienced in the past. We've seen internal corporate changes that have affected us gamers literally overnight, and then had them reversed due to severe backlashing. We've also witnessed price hikes on 6-year-old hardware, which has never happened before in the past, outside of limited hardware price scalping. And then beyond from us gamers, we've witnessed countless industry developer layoffs in record numbers, which does not seem to be ending any way, shape, or form. So now you want to restrict your existing and your potential PC customers towards purchasing just your single-player games on one platform, but you did not decide to do this with your multiplayer games as well? I mean, what kind of closed-minded, ignorant decision from Herman Hulst was this? Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to stay naive in denying the real deciding reason to hold your single player treasures away from the PC community. And I believe we all know the truth as to why this is truly happening. And that answer comes in two parts: the Steam machine and Xbox Project Helix. Both machines are being engineered to be PC console hybrid pieces of hardware that will support PC storefront games. And if any one of those games can be played from a Steam store, then a PlayStation game from within the Steam store catalog can and will play natively on these aforementioned consoles. And Sony does not like that one bit, and they're putting a stop to it. Well, at least half of the problem anyway. Now, I can understand the reason to pull all your titles if that were to include everything across the board, but that's not what's happening here. And in my professional opinion, this decision to segregate your single player games to only be played on the PlayStation consoles yet again does not feel like a pro-consumer decision to be made for your PC customers. And the PC community have proven time and time again that they have infinite patience to wait for a title, to wait for a piece of software to finally arrive on the PC. This decision will only lead towards testing just how strong the brand of PlayStation really is to non-console gamers. But that is only after those individuals finally realize that it's just the single player games that's being pulled here. The multiplayer games will remain. Now, if you were to ask my personal opinion involving this decision, I will always side with the gamers that demand a true sense of freedom among our preferred platforms. As customers, we should be granted the freedom to play any game we want, anywhere we want. But that's not realistic, and I know that. Okay, I know that. There's no need to argue this reality fact with me. I know and understand how this gaming landscape works. Exclusivity rights is the world that we live in, whether any one of us gamers like it or not. And I respect that. I guess. I do. I respect that. So all I ask is for Sony to show us the correct example of exclusivity instead of this segregated nonsense between their single-player games and their multiplayer games. I see this as no different from 1930s and 1940s racial profiling and segregation, only that you're attempting to pull this stunt from a corporate point of view. And what's eventually to happen to all your available single-player titles that currently do sit live within the Steam store? Will they now effectively expire from out of the Steam store at some point in the future? What kind of message of good faith does this tell all the PC players that enjoy playing your games on their superior PC hardware? Now listen, don't get me wrong about all the many different snowballing reasons why this change is happening. PC game sales were deemed lower than originally forecasted, but that's not our problem. That's a Sony problem. But your marketing for these games on the PC were always piss poor, Sony, with no strong marketing push for exposure. And your reliance on word of mouth sales don't do a thing for you, or Microsoft for that matter. This does honestly goes triple for Microsoft, but they have their own demons to slay. Today, we're talking about PlayStation's poor decision on this one. But Sony feels and believes that this is the correct and best decision for their company and brand. And every one of us gamers will have to deal with it in our own ways. If you feel the need and the draw to continue supporting Sony's single-player games, and you currently do not own a PlayStation 5, you will have that decision to make on your own to invest in Sony's ecosystem. You don't have a choice anymore. You will bend the knee with your wallet extended out. There are noticeable pros and cons produced from this leaked announcement I don't think everybody is aware of. The biggest pro being rearming fanboys with slingable ammo to throw at opposing sides. This is what the fanboys wanted to begin with, to reaffirm the true exclusivity of the brand of their choice. But this news will eventually come at them with a much higher cost than they realized. This news does now give Sony Interactive Entertainment every right in the world to price adjust their single player games as exclusive, full-blown, vacation-like experiences and not just simple single player games anymore. We all may wake up one morning to witness that Sony is raising the prices of their own single player games, perhaps up to $80 or even $90 games overnight, and tell us just to deal with it. And microtransactions within these future games will be at an all-time high now. They have no choice but to pack these single player experiences with piles and piles of paywalled editions that's probably already been downloaded from your initial purchase, just now that you're forced to pay extra to unlock them. But hey, pay that stuff no mind, right? Exclusivity is back, and it's back with a vengeance. That's all that matters, right? Well, let's all hope from the very best coming from out of Sony, but be prepared to pay for the absolute worst to come. And with that being said, I am Musical Weapon. Come back again. We'll do this again.